I was literally laying on my bed and all of a sudden I could not move. And then there was this like weird loud noise. And then all of a sudden I left my body and I'm looking down at my body and I'm in sheer panic. And the message was, you will die if you keep going. Go back.
We have an intuitive coach and a motivational speaker, Randy Spelling.
From a very, very early age, my parents told me that there was this phenomenon around me. They sent me to a psychologist and they said I could have some form of ESP. I would feel this one guide that would come in and every single time it felt like someone poured warm honey through the top of my head and it went all throughout my body. And that's how I could recognize that that person was showing up.
Whoa.
So I sort of had this, but was battling my own demons because I sunk into addiction hardcore. And all of a sudden, this darker gray, black energy swirling all around me. This voice came, stop, just watch. And then next thing I know, all this golden filigree is moving all around me. And all of a sudden, these codes are like matrix going right in front of me. Then it goes black. And there's a movie screen. And these two words flash on the screen.
Welcome to the Acid for Squares podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Dahl.
And I'm Cody Blue. And on today's episode, we have our friend, Randy Spelling, who is an intuitive coach, the podcast host of Oldish, and a motivational speaker. Brother, thank you for being on. We appreciate you. Round of applause for Randy.
Oh my gosh.
Round of applause.
You guys, it is so good to be here with you. I mean, we film in this studio.
Is it weird being on your own set, but on a different show?
I love it. You know why? There's no pressure. I feel like I have no responsibility. You guys can hold the time in your head, the shots, the sounds. I can just be with
That's
you
true.
two.
You could just be. You
It's
could just
great.
be. You sit back and relax and
Yeah.
just tell us all your deepest, darkest, most vulnerable secrets.
Oh, easy. I'm ready.
Easy peasy. All right. Well, brother, like, loved you since we met you. You're obviously a very in touch, spiritual, intuitive man. And, you know, we know you bring that into your coaching as well. And we would love to hear your story and your journey of how you got to the point where you are, you know, coaching people and helping guide people on their journeys.
I was born 2.5 months premature. So I'll just start with that.
Me too.
You too. Okay.
Yep.
So like high
Twins.
five. Already having like 10% chance of living in 1978 when that happened, it was like, yeah, he has 10, 12% chance of living, like barely any lung function and all of this. I think I was in an incubator for almost 2 months. So, you know, this was sort of a sad, lonely time.
Welcome to the world.
Like, welcome to the
You're like,
world. Stay in this box. But crazy enough, I got to meet the man that he either invested in or invented the lights at the hospital that just came in right as I was born. They were trying out these new incubation lights, and these lights saved my life.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes.
What were the lights?
There were some special lights that kept people alive, I guess. This was like newer technology back then.
Like a grow light for plants?
Like a grow light, yeah.
Oh, you were under a little grow light.
Baby grow light. Yeah, yeah. Little Miracle Grow spray. Okay, so from a very, very early age, I don't really remember this, but my parents told me that there was this phenomenon around me. There was a little Vaseline bottle that kept winding up in my crib, and that they would put it away on a table, and then nap time, it would wind up in my crib. And then they would put it somewhere else, and it would wind up in my crib. And this was obviously a little bit concerning. So then they would put it in the bathroom or somewhere far away, and it would wind up in my crib. So when I could barely speak, I was saying little anecdotes, little things about my dad's war stories from World War II. I would describe my mom's dress that she was going to wear 2 nights from that time period as she was going to go to an event. So there was enough things that they said, we just want to make sure that all is okay. And so they sent me to a psychologist at UCLA. We did all these Rorschach tests and all these different things, puzzles. And they said that I had a high IQ. I'm not sure what happened since then.
He's smart.
Yeah, I had a high IQ and that I could have some form of ESP. They called it ESP back then. And I think from what I remember that they asked my parents, could we run more tests on him? Could we, experiment a little bit? And my parents wanted nothing to do with that. They said, we just want him to be a normal kid. But they were so cool because they would play games with both my sister and I. We would have this game where they would put items on a kitchen table. They would send us upstairs. I remember going up the stairs, staying in the room and being so excited, counting to 20, coming back down and going to the table and pointing to the item that they touched and where they touched it.
Whoa.
And I wasn't right every time, but
still.
a lot of the time.
Oh my God. Also, first of all, I just want to say that good job for your parents not getting you put in MK Ultra because it sounded like you were about to be a government experiment. They're like,
Right.
Can we do some test on
We'd
your
like to
child?
do some tests on your
Yeah.
child, ma'am.
Think of how developed, though, I would be if I did
That's
that.
true.
right.
But then like the word clicks and you're like, ah!
You'd be full strength.
I would have to unlearn some stuff.
That's,
right?
I see what you
sure,
did.
Did you see what I did there?
Yeah, not bad. Okay, so your parents start cultivating it a little bit in a playful way, but not totally embracing it.
Yeah, I would say that of the time, they were actually pretty open to it, considering this was not the norm.
And they were doing this with you and Tori?
Uh-huh.
Did she also have this?
Tori, my whole family, my mom is sensitive. Tori's sensitive. I would say that with this sensitivity, there's definitely some intuitive abilities there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, your whole family.
Yeah.
So you grew up with your family being like this?
Yes, but because this wasn't talked about, I think we all just had it in our own way, and then we would play with it once in a while. I'd go to my dad's office and I would ask some of the assistants and people working there. I would say, so guess a number between 1 and 10 or 1 and 50. And I would try and guess the number. I just loved it. There was, when you're intuitive and those messages come through, it's kind of like if you've ever hit a golf ball and you can hit it 10 times and it goes all over the place. But that one moment where you hit that sweet spot, it just feels like, oh, that's the point of connection. That's how intuition feels when there's a message that comes to you. It just feels like that is the sweet spot of connection.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So you're, so how old are you at this point? Like when you're doing all these games and stuff?
I mean, this was from 6 to 10 maybe.
Okay. So when you became a teenager, were you like kind of, because usually kids kind of like stop doing it around there. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I stopped. So I was ultra sensitive as a child. I mean, I would cry at the drop of a dime. I felt the weight of the world. I would feel everyone's emotion. So I would say empathic, maybe an empath. And I would write poetry. So just extremely sensitive. And, I used to play tennis and starting to compete a little bit and then getting into teenage boy. None of this is being discussed back then.
No.
None. So I start to go, okay, I'm like an exposed nerve all the time. I'm crying because my 3rd grade girlfriend broke up with me after we've been together for 2 days, right? Like sobbing in tears with the Kleenex box. I got into the teenage years and then I just started pushing that aside. And it wasn't until I would say 17 when I started coming back around. I started asking some deeper existential questions. I had an acting coach, and at the time, there was something that she shared with me about these Chinese herbs and that she takes these herbs. But it was something in the way that she shared it where I just thought, there's more. There's more to this story. And sure enough, there was more to the story. And one day I looked at her and I said, it's not just about the herbs, is it? What else? What else are you doing? And she took that as a green light. And Pandora's box was open, and she started telling me how she healed from a brain tumor. And she started telling me about all these spiritual experiences. And Tanya, Cody, I felt in my body that buzzing feeling, and I just thought, oh, I can never go back. This is home. Tell me more. And I was so hungry for what she was telling me. And then this led me down the path of, I think my first spiritual book I read was Celestine Prophecy.
Oh, great book.
Yeah, great book.
Great book.
And then I got into meditation. I got my first crystal at 18 and started meditating with crystals.
What crystal did you get?
I got a pyramid quartz. And I used to have such strong meditations with this that even though I bought other crystals, I kept going back to the little pyramid quartz because it was my first. So that got me into crystals, metaphysics. I just felt like a sponge trying to research, understand as much about myself, as much about the spirit and the human and how they interact. I was an avid meditator. I had some really strong experiences, and these were sober experiences, even though I was experimenting with the ecstasy and some drugs back then. When I would do these meditations, I was working, I was an actor, and I had to memorize, I was on a soap opera, so I had to memorize 60 pages of dialogue a day.
You were on a soap opera?
I was on a soap
What soap opera?
called Sunset Beach.
Oh my
Nice.
God, I know Sunset Beach.
You know
I
Sunset
do.
Beach?
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, it was short-lived, but it was interesting. It was the only soap opera that had location shoots at the beach. So we would batch shoot. So sometimes I would have literally 60, 70 pages of dialogue.
Oh my God.
So I would go to bed early and I would go in my room. I had a red light in my lamp, and I would sit up and I would take some deep breaths, and then I would just be in, and I would feel different. I felt like they were my guides, but I would feel this one in particular, this one guide that would come in, and every single time it felt like someone poured warm honey through the top of my head, and it went all throughout my body. And that's how I could recognize that person was showing up.
Whoa! I've heard of that. What do they call it? The sweet waters? Sweet waters?
No.
Is that what they call that?
No, that's
it's
the
nectar.
that's the thing
of,
when you do the
Couldn't tell you.
Kundalini thing, and like
Couldn't tell yet, but I've heard
Sorry,
of that
that's like-
phenomenon. I felt it as well, but it was specific to it was like a specific energy that would come through.
Yeah.
So tell us about this.
I had a couple guides, I would say. I mean, I got into this stuff very young. I would do all sorts of like channeled sessions and whatever. I knew this channeler who was this, I won't say her name. She's not here on the planet anymore, but she was like 4'11", Cuban, just fiery woman, and would channel Saint Germain. But there was no website, there was no card, she just did this for a few different people that I guess she knew or they knew of her. And she was something. She would be all over TikTok and Instagram right now. I mean, she was like Bashar. She's actually the one that told me about Darylenka, and that she and him used to like 35 years ago or something like that.
Whoa.
So yeah, very, very powerful woman. And she was a full body channel. So she would transmedium. She would go out essentially. She'd take these deep breaths. It would take like 2.5 minutes. And you would start to hear this breath come in that did not sound like hers. And all of a sudden it was off to the races. And I could feel that same energy. There was a powerful, palpable, tangible quality that someone else was there.
How did you find her?
Yeah.
Through a close friend of mine.
A lot of people talk with that palpable energy and describe it as like a fog or like a vibration. Is that how it felt?
Felt more like a vibration.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so much of a fog, but it was, I mean, my heart would beat faster. I could feel the energy. And so for me, I'm very much an energy person, and there's been a lot of people who I've gone to where I've still learned something, but I haven't felt that quality of energy. And I mean, being around people, sometimes you can really feel it. Sometimes you might get something great, but it's not the same powerful type of feeling. Yeah. I started this when I was 18. So I had this side of me, and then I was also going out to nightclubs and stuff with my friends on the weekend. So there was a really big spectrum of me sort of having this spiritual side. My friends thought I was nuts. They were like, oh, Randy with these green and gold books that he has. And, he's talking about this and that. But I just was always like that.
Well, that's so interesting because it feels like polar opposites, because it's like you're like Hollywood royal family, and then you're like at the same time you're like into esoteric stuff, and you're like in the corner, you're like, hold on a second, let me channel some beings. It's really cool. The opposite.
Perfect balance.
Perfect balance. Did you hide it from the people that you knew that were like friends of yours, or were you open book and they knew that this was going on?
I wouldn't say that I hid it, but I had discernment over who I shared what with, because when I felt that people just wouldn't understand that at all, I wasn't strong enough and embodied enough to hold that line of, this is who I am and I'm comfortable. I was still a bit chameleonic and figuring out, who does the world want me to be? Where is my place? Who am I? So I sort of had this, but was battling my own demons, because right after that, I sunk into addiction hardcore.
Oh, really? What happened?
I mean, I started drinking when I was 13, just on weekends and stuff like that. But I was young, and then, 15 was sort of like smoked pot, and then, discovered ecstasy and played around with that. And then I went into these other drugs like GHB and alcohol and cocaine, and just a really deadly cocktail. And I would have some of my best friends, they busted down my door a couple times because we were supposed to go somewhere, and I passed out, and they thought maybe I was dead. I mean, this was happening repeatedly. Wow. And it was terrible in the sense that my friends thought that one day they were going to find me dead. I had 2 DUIs. I got my license taken away. I mean, I was just on the path of probably not being here anymore. And then right around 2006, my father passed away. There was a lot of media stuff happening around his death and my family and stuff. And I just was not handling it well, and already entrenched in addiction. So the wheels just came off the bus for me. I was hurting. I was grieving. And I remember this one night, probably about a month after he had passed, I was up for 2 days. Everyone had left my apartment, and I was desperately searching matchboxes and different things to try and find something that would keep me inebriated, because I just didn't want to come down from where I was at. And I just had this moment of awareness. I mean, I could see it and feel it like it was yesterday. I fell to my knees, and I used to call my dad Pops toward the end of his life. And I said, Pops, if you can hear me, God, my guides, anyone, all the powers that be, I really feel like I'm meant to be here for more. I had all of these spiritual experiences. I knew what connection felt like real connection, not feeling separate from, but feeling connected. And I just said, I want that. I want to be here and make an impact. I don't know how that is going to happen, but I want to make an impact. And if not, if I'm meant to just live this life, then please just take me out. I'm not going to do it, but I don't want to be here. I don't want to live like this. And literally, in the next 5-6 days, my mom had a birthday party, and I showed up at her birthday party, and I thought I was being sly. I probably was like 6 cocktails in. Everyone knew that I was wasted, but I thought I was handling myself well. And on the way home, I got a ride with her, and she said, you have a problem. And I mean, this was not like huge news, but it was the way that she said it and the fact that she addressed it. And I knew when she said that, and I was mad. I think I got mad at her and, said something and left. But I knew, I was like, that my gig is up. So the next day I went and I said, yep, thank you for saying something. I absolutely had a problem. And she wasn't aware of how bad, how deep this got. I researched a rehab. I went to Utah. I was supposed to be there 30 days. I stayed for like 45 or 50. And I had this therapist named Burton. And he had he looked like Tim Robbins when Tim Robbins had the long, like the ponytail.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, like spitting image. And he came in and he said something. He was like, hey, man. He's like, you're really spiritual. And I said, yeah, I think I am. And he said, well, you have to get back to self. And he said something and I just thought, okay, this is scary. I don't know how, but I'm going to do this. And that really sort of set something in motion where that night of falling to my knees was the catalyst for change. And as you both know, it's not like this beautiful change that happens. It got bad for the next week or two. I almost died again. I had an out-of-body experience laying in my bed.
Whoa.
Wait, what do you mean? What happened?
So 2 nights before I was supposed to go into rehab, I still had this drug, GHB, and I think I had some alcohol and I drank it and I took it. And I was literally laying on my bed and all of a sudden I could not move. I could not move. And then there was this like weird loud noise. And then all of a sudden I left my body and I'm looking down at my body and I'm in sheer panic. People talk about like, oh, it was so beautiful in the light. I was in sheer panic. Oh my gosh. And then it subsided. And then there was just like complete peace. And the message was, you will die. This is what will happen if you keep going. Go back. And then I was like, I don't want to go back. It's like, I want to feel like this because I think what I wanted from the drugs was to not feel all the pain that I was feeling, all the stuff that I hadn't dealt with, all of the pain. I was just constantly taking and trying to fix that, and it just couldn't. So I got to this place where I was like, I'm free. I don't want to go back. And then I went back and I was trying to move and I couldn't, and I finally came to, and then I was scared. I thought, whoa, okay, I can't play around anymore. And then that was it.
What happened at the rehab facility? Either tell us what at the rehab facility helped you heal, or how was that as a launching pad forward? What was the next step to getting well?
The rehab facility was just a timeout. I really feel that that's what it was. It was a reprieve from all my bad habits. Started working out again. I started eating a little better. And then I went home and I remember going, who am I? Like, what do I want to do with my life? And I was in entertainment and I just remember thinking, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do this, because what I didn't mention was right before my dad passed away, I had started to do this reality show. I never wanted to do reality. I was always very private. And it just was like the antithesis of everything that I wasn't. It wasn't fully authentic. Even the it just, all of it, it wasn't me. So I had to spend 2 months on camera. And this wasn't a scripted reality show where it's like you film and then they go away. There were cameras in the house. There were cameras everywhere.
Oh, geez.
Whoa.
Like Big Brother style?
Yeah, so I had to live my life on camera, deep in addiction. My father passes away, gets sick right when we start filming, and then passes away. There's all this, media stuff that goes on around my family.
Wait, you were being filmed while all this was happening? Holy shit.
Why was so? I'm so sorry, brother. I know your sister's an actress as well, but you come from, or your parents, like, who are your parents?
So my dad was a television producer named Aaron Spelling.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Wow. Okay. So this is insane. So you're filming this as all this is happening?
Filming it.
A family reality show?
Not a family reality show.
It was about him.
I was with 2 other guys filming it, but it was just, again, it was messy. It was inauthentic is the best word I could describe. And being on camera, being is inauthentic. So here I am already disconnected, grieving, and doing this show. So, but that was such a beautiful catalyst, because having that experience pushed me to the point of rethinking everything and going, do I want to do this? Is this how I want to live my life or make my living? Or I don't want to do it in this way. And I was, in therapy at the time. And I remember saying to my therapist, I don't know what I want to do. And he said something about life coaching. And at the time, it wasn't very popular. I'd heard the term on Oprah, and I said, forgive me for saying this, but isn't that like a women's profession? I didn't mean anything sexist by it. I just had only heard of life coaches being women. And he said, well, my wife is a life coach, but no, he said, I've been certified. There's other, just go look at it. And back then there were 2 schools around, and I went home, got on the computer, looked at it, and I thought, wow, this checks a lot of boxes. I can do this program. They're great interpersonal skills, and maybe I could help people. And so I enrolled in class, and it was suggested to coach as many people as possible to get practice. So I started coaching people, and I was awful. I was very green, trying to do everything by the book. And I had a mentor coach. I remember saying to her, how am I ever going to sound like you? You ask questions so effortlessly, and you can hold it all. I don't know how to do this. And she's from Arkansas, and she said, oh, you can, with her accent. She's like, you'll get there. And what happened, though, was I remember the second or third person I coached was a woman that I was friends with. We kind of like dated here and there, on and off. And I said, would you like a coaching session? And she said, sure. And when we started coaching, I was trying to do everything as I was taught. And after the 14th question straight, she said, Randy, could you do me a favor? And I said, yeah. And she said, I spent many nights with you up late at night. I know how intuitive you are. And this was something that wasn't even talked about, but she just said, I know how intuitive you are. Could you just sort of like check in and maybe just communicate instead of asking me so many questions? And I thought, my heart's thumping, and I thought, okay, so someone just handed me a permission slip to do. She's asking for this. That was kind of like against what I was taught, but I thought, okay, she's asking. So I did. I took a deep breath and I started sharing. And after a few minutes, I stopped sharing, and she was quiet, and I heard her crying, and she said, thank you. Now I don't know if she said that, that's what I needed or something. And I thought, oh, wow, that there's some power in that. That's really helpful. And so I just started coaching people, more and more and more people. I started a business, and I started working with people. I worked at a wellness clinic here in Los Angeles, working with people who went through trauma, car accidents. And they hired me because they said, we're having a lot of success in many areas of their healing, but there's something emotionally that they're not letting go of. And I said, listen, I'm a life coach. I don't know if I can work with people in this area. This is not. And they said, well, can you just try? Would you be willing to sit with these people? And I thought, okay. And, I'd let everyone know I'm just a life coach here. Like, I'm not a trained therapist or anything, but we would get to talking, and all of a sudden I would have some intuitive moments come through, or something would happen, and they'd start talking about something from the past or something that they went through that seemed completely unrelated. And then I'd make my notes, and they'd come in the next week and they'd say, it's so wild. My neck, my back, I'm feeling better. And so I wasn't attributing all of that to what we were doing, but something was working. And then ever since, I have been coaching people, creating content, writing, speaking, working with people, I would say ultimately to heal. But the healing for me is discovering who they are, who they came here to be, not the human. The human is the sort of like experience fun part, but reminding people that we are spirit. We are this soul, and embodying that. And then healing comes based on that. That's the symptom.
Today's episode is brought to you by 4 Visions.
4 Visions works directly with indigenous medicine makers from South America
to bring you the most ethically sourced shamanic tools on the market.
Tools like sananga, cacao,
herbal tinctures,
botanical remedies,
healing lotions,
and many more.
But the medicine we want to highlight to you today is the medicine of Hapé.
Hapé is a sacred tobacco that is ground up and used with a snuff.
It's a powerful tool that can be used for clearing and moving energy and inviting and bringing in new energy.
We don't know if acid for squares would even exist if it wasn't for Hapé.
And this is something that we were able to use more frequently because it's not traditionally psychoactive.
There's no specific dose that you have to give. So you can do a tiny, tiny small amount, or you can do a larger amount depending on where you're at, what you're trying to move.
It's a powerful tool and needs to be used responsibly. And 4 Visions is a company that ethically sources Hapé from the tribes and gives money back to the tribes in reciprocity.
That is why we trust 4 Visions. Go to 4visions.com and use promo code ACID4SQUARES for 15% off your purchase. Pardon the interruption, but we have Acid for Squares merch that is out now.
We made it with all of you in mind.
Here, there's a journal with some pages in it.
Oh, look at the paper. It's actually pretty nice.
Here is a mug.
You also have this other mug. You have this sweatshirt. Bless you. Are you okay? Help us out. Buy some merch. It looks better than it sounds. If you love the show and you want to support us, please go to our website and check out our merch. All the proceeds go directly to the production. All right, now back to regularly scheduled deprogramming.
So, can you explain to me, like, exactly what a life coach does?
Or what you do.
Yeah. Well, I guess not the book. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean,
the intuitive part is really fascinating too. Like how does that? How exactly is that affecting what you do?
So, I mean, typical life coaching, right? I would say by the book is taking where someone is right now, figuring out where they want to go, and creating the bridge to get there.
Okay.
It's not traditional therapy. It's not psychodynamic therapy. You're not generally supposed to talk about mother, father, sister, and what happened when you were 5. The disconnect for me, and I have to be careful like towing the line here, but the disconnect for me is it's almost impossible to separate things in life. And when someone really wants to get deep and they want to create success for themselves or, new habits or a better relationship, how do you not talk about the patterns that are there that are running the reality that you're seeing?
And where they came from.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's the cause of the sickness in the first place is we cut ourselves off from ourselves and compartmentalize all these different aspects of ourselves. I mean, if we're talking about like what you're doing, it's a return to whole systems, return to oneness. It's connecting these aspects and realizing what you do for fun or what you do for your career or your relationships or how you grew up, they're all connected. And it's in seeing the finding the harmony and the understanding of how these things fit together. That's where we can move forward. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I understand that you have to tiptoe a little bit, but not here.
Right.
That makes total sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think the difficult part is there can be a month-long coach certification and people call themselves coaches. And I know some incredible coaches. I've also heard some stories that are not so great, but also I've heard some stories about therapists and psychiatrists.
Right.
I mean, I've been practicing for 18 years, and some of the stories across the board are jaw-dropping that these people are professionals, even regulated in a field that's regulated. Some of the things I heard are just wild.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Wild.
It's any field. It's
Any field,
industry.
yeah.
You know, it's any industry. People, you know, we're flawed.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah, we're fallible. So you asked me, you know, in terms of what I do specifically, it's a really good question. I sometimes have a hard time boxing that up because the truth is I don't know exactly what I do. I wish I had the elevator pitch, but it's taken me years and years and years to be able to actually say that confidently, that I don't pretend to know exactly what happens in sessions. I don't have a one-size-fits-all way of working with people. It depends on who's in front of me, and that's the intuitive part. Is I do a deep intake and really get a good idea of what someone wants. I can understand and listen and see where they're held back, what's going on. But then when we work together, I might get intuitive messages that come. I might get symbols or colors. Most of what happens is I'm guided to ask these questions, and they're questions that I wouldn't pre-plan, or I would never go, oh, that makes sense. But it's the question that gets them to the place of opening something up, because what I think is so powerful is if I just communicate everything to them, sometimes it's too much. Sometimes they don't have the vocabulary or the context to hold it all. But if we can get in through questioning, and then, you know, they're feeling safe and trusting and they're open, and then all of a sudden something's coming up that they didn't expect, and that's the place that needs to be unlocked.
Wow.
So it's highly specific and individualized.
Yeah.
But it's so fun. I absolutely love it because I'm in awe every time I work with a group, with people individually. Is I don't even know what's going to come. And sometimes people will see me. I will go one moment and I just close my eyes and I take a deep breath. And I used to be so worried about doing that, how that would be judged. But now, because I know that my logical mind is searching for something, but it's not in the logic. And by now, I trust intuition enough to know there's something deeper here, Randy. Mm-hmm. Ask. Wow. And so I will ask. And sometimes something doesn't come, and I just start talking. And it's this weird sort of like, I have nothing, but I'm just going to start talking, because I get like okay, go, even though I can't see it. Sometimes I'll see pictures and I'll communicate that. Sometimes an idea will come through. Sometimes a message will come through and I kind of fight because I'm like, no, I don't want to, that's not, but that's what that person needs to hear in the moment. And my alignment is to give them what they need, because it's hopefully in their highest good. That's the intention that I set.
Yeah,
that's
practicing playing with your intuition is it seems really risky when you're like starting out, but it's so wild because when I'm not paying attention to my intuition as much as I normally should, like things go awry. But then I'm like, I just start paying attention no matter what it is, even if it's like, drink that, do that, like whatever it is, if I pay attention to it, it just starts getting louder and louder. And that it's something that is really fun. Like anybody at home, just try that. Like, and if you have like a thought like, oh, do this, do that, as long as it's not fear-based, that's not intuition. Intuition is not based in fear.
Right.
Do you have any tips for tapping into intuition?
Nice, Tanya.
Thanks.
Well, you have a super smooth sentence.
That thing.
I do that
Do you
thing.
have any tips for tapping intuition? Oh, that is hard.
Yeah.
I see.
That is.
Look it up too.
Tongue twister.
Tapping, intuition. There's a lot of T's in
I have
there.
a lisp all of a sudden.
Some alliteration. I do. So funny that you're asking me this. I feel like this is the whole direction that I'm moving into. with my work. My second book is all about this. It's all about teaching people how to feel connected to their intuition, feel connected to their spirit, their soul, and to live like that. Because it's one thing to be like, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Every time I heard that, I always loved that phrase. Every time I read it in a book, yes, yes, yes. But it's fleeting. It's like trying to pin down a tomato seed. You try to get it and it just slips out of your finger. It's elusive. But if we could actually live more from that place, and I think that intuition is one of those places. I mean, you both know because you live like this. When you live more intuitively and you remind yourself that you are this, soul before just the human, things look different. The perspective just shifts ever so slightly. And I think that intuition is such a bridge. So one great tip is practice small. Don't take a huge decision in your life. Should I leave or should I stay? Right? Should I take the job? Should I not take the job? That is actually too high stakes to practice if you're just learning. Because I can teach people all day long. And even for me, if I'm not neutral and if I have a lot of emotion in it, I have to regulate myself. I have to calm myself to be able to bring intuition in, which is why in those moments, I'll start drawing. Mm-hmm. I'll ask a question and I'll just start drawing for 2 minutes and see what comes without judging it at all. I'll do some automatic writing. I'll ask a question and I'll just write. Like I did this the other day and all of a sudden my hand was just making big things. I mean, it wasn't legible, but the information was coming.
The interesting thing about, we're using this language, intuitive coaching, right? Intuitive is this is just a brand. It's a word we're using to describe something. And very much what we're calling intuitive in this conversation, I feel like it's like the new operating system, so to speak. Mm-hmm. A lot of people talk about an evolution, a shift. The new operating system, you might call it moving from the head to the heart. But it's really letting go of the controls and living in harmony with, you can call it your higher self or the unconscious or the source. It doesn't matter. But there is understanding, there is an intelligence at play moving through you that is perfect and more advanced than we could ever possibly be with our limited mind.
And knows more.
And so it is like when you say moving from the book, you moved away from the book. That was such a perfect, I was like, wow, because that's what happens. We all get indoctrinated. This is how it has to be. This is how you have to be. This is the way we do things. But when we let go and we sort of stare into the unknown and initiate movement like you're doing with either just opening your mouth or writing a little bit and tap into that flow state, like it's amazing. And I'm sure you witness miracles, through you and, mirrored back by your patients. And I'm sure it must be the most fulfilling life.
Well, it's so fulfilling in the sense of when you see people connect, when you see that light come on, when they start to love themselves more. And it's not manufactured. It's not artificial. It's real. I mean, people's voice changes. I do these small group coachings and every single time we do record them. I will say, go back if you have the recording and watch the way you were speaking the very first session that we had, because within 5 to 6 months, they look transformed. They sound different. Their breathing patterns change. Their eyes open more. I mean, it's really so mind-blowing, but it's not. It's also humbling, because this is happening through us. Like this conversation is a co-creation. There's an energy here and it's a co-creation. That to me is humbling. Like it's hard to take credit for that because like you said, it's that intelligence that's happening through us.
Mm-hmm. Through us.
The trick is allowing it. And we are so taught, like unlearn, we're so taught to push, to make. And there is a time for pushing and making, but when you're moving from head to heart, there is an allowance factor that you need to allow for, that it's just about being. And the key to unlocking that is trust. Now, maybe, I know faith might be misconstrued in a way, but it's having faith that something will happen, that you will be guided, that you're not being listened to, but you have to trust.
So what is so obviously like you're very tapped in. So do you have like a daily practice that you do that gets you like tuned into that?
I wish I could tell you that I did have a daily practice. I try to meditate 10 minutes every night.
At night before bed?
At night before bed.
Oh,
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Having kids is a practice in the sense of I have to meet myself over and over and over again because I think one way, oh, we're going against the time. You have to get out the door, blah, 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 do this, do that. And then I have to allow for the soul in front of me who might be struggling in that moment. And what I'm getting is pushback, or what I'm getting is annoyance or frustration. And I want to take it personally and I want to get upset. And then I realize, okay, what's needed here? So I have to ask myself a deeper question. What is this person needing? And I think because I do that professionally, I have, garnered some skill, some practice in being able to ask that question and then get an answer. And when that awareness comes through, they're struggling or they're scared. My response can be different. And so daily life really is the practice if I can stay in awareness.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Making the way you live the practice. I'm going to call upon your intuitive coaching right now, which you obviously are very tapped in. I mean, you're so open-hearted. It's crazy. We always
You're so open-hearted.
Like ships passing, like coming out, coming in, coming out. Like sit here with you, like feet on the floor, like chest up, like looking at us. Wow. Beautiful. So
Thank you.
Could you, what do you see? I'm sure you see a lot of patterns, and we believe that we're all connected thematically, going through certain thematic lessons, all of us. We may be living separate lives, but we're learning similar things. Do you see patterns in your clients and the people you work with? What life advice do you have for the collective as we move through this time right now?
I think I have a couple, but one of them I talked to my Uber driver about this morning, and I will trust that all things are synchronistic and it happened just so for today. We were talking about politics and about everything that's going on. And we were talking about this fine line between reacting to, standing up for, and getting so distracted that you fall into the chaos of left, right, up, down, blue, red, good, bad, wrong, right. And there's this confusion. There's dissonance and discord in the whole system. And I think that, again, I'm not saying stick your head in the sand, but I also have people where their whole life is being run by what's happening. And this is a hard topic, right? I don't say this insensitively. There are things that are hurting my heart daily that are happening. But if you're moving away from the work that you have to do in the world, showing up with your family in a way that is too much in fear or impatient because of all the chaos that's happening, you're being pulled out of self. And my whole message is come back to self, come back to center. There is a storm, and this storm will bring something new. I don't necessarily agree with a lot that's happening. And at the same time, it's happening. And if you could put more creativity out into the world, if you can play more, even in the midst of what's going on, if you can find time to give a compliment look at someone, if you're in the grocery line, and actually smile, acknowledge them, say something. I told a woman I liked the beads in her braids today, and she said thank you and lit up. I didn't do it for the outcome, but I did it because I'm sitting in front of her. Let's acknowledge each other. That brings us back to self.
Yes, this is something that Cody and I, because we just moved to North Carolina, and it was a major problem here in Los Angeles, is that Cody and I are a little too friendly with everyone.
I refuse to live in a world where I walk past someone and pretend they do not exist.
Yeah, and so we walk by.
Oh yeah, they don't like it.
People and say hi, and people will literally look the other way or give you a dirty look or look scared.
No, my favorite is I go, "Good morning." They go, "Ah."
Really?
Yeah, they get scared.
Why are you talking to me?
I mean, maybe it's because I'm yelling at them and doing a stabbing motion, saying, "Good morning."
Good morning. Can I give you a hug?
Yeah, maybe it's me.
But it is true, and this is something that Cody and I practice in our daily lives, is that, giving somebody a smile or a compliment literally doesn't cost anything. And if you look at somebody and you are like, oh, they have cool hair, or I like their jacket, or like they look unique, or whatever you want, whatever is coming up, just say it. Just say it to them, because also a lot of times people don't hear that, or they don't have people around them that give them love or even attention. And I feel like sometimes it's just an acknowledgement of somebody's existence can help shift them significantly, because so many people are so lonely, and you're stuck at home, and you're stuck on social media, and you don't have a lot of friends or whatever. I mean, the epidemic of loneliness, we talk about this all the time. Mm-hmm. So if everybody just acknowledged each other just a little bit out on the streets, in the store, like you're talking about, anywhere, then that would start to shift collectively.
It does. I'll share a fun little story with you.
Please do.
My oldest daughter and I were out. I forget where we were. I think we were on vacation somewhere. And someone was passing by her, someone her age, so around 13 to 15, let's say. And they said, "Oh my gosh, you're so pretty. I just wanted to tell you that." And it felt really genuine. And Sage said, "Oh, wow." Her reaction. And then I heard Sage doing that to somebody else.
Yep.
And it was whatever was real for her. Like, "Oh, I really love your hair color. Or I really love your glasses." And that, to me, it's not just it, because it sounds so simple, like, okay, let's just acknowledge each other and but it's not that simple. It has such a ripple effect, because if we can model that, someone else will go, that made a difference for me. And if someone has the experience of how someone made a difference, they're 10 times more likely to repeat that, because they felt something from that.
Yeah. And it's a practice too, because like, at least for myself, I am in my head a lot. And so I don't say stuff. So actually, with like Cody, right? So Cody likes words of affirmation, right? He's really good at it. But I wasn't like raised that way and stuff like that. So it's not something that comes naturally for me. So I have to remember all the time, be like, Cody likes words of affirmation. So I have to like make sure to say things out loud.
Just tell me I'm pretty and pat my head.
Oh, you're so pretty.
Simple man.
What is it for you that you like? What reaches you?
Oh, my love language is acts of service.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. That is acts of service is and also quality time. Those are the
Quality
two. Quality time and acts of service.
Also,
What's yours?
I would say words of affirmation. Maybe that.
You look fantastic.
So do you.
Hey, thank you so much. Oh my God, I love you. Let's be friends. Would you like to be friends?
Of course, we already are.
Fantastic.
Oh my God, and anybody listening, if you haven't done this before, you should definitely check this out, because it's good to do with your family. It's good to do with your friends, or if you have a partner. It's called the 5 Love Languages, and it's a test you can take online. And it just teaches you how you like to receive love. And the thing that's cool is that we typically give love in the way that we like to receive love, but it's not the same. Like acts of service might not be Cody's thing, and words of affirmation might not be my thing. But if we just switch that and I start giving him words of affirmation and he starts giving me acts of service, then we're speaking each other's love language. We're giving love the way that the person needs it.
Technically, I like all of the love languages, but we do lean in one direction. Also, I want to tell you guys a story of if of me being too much compliments to people. I made a rule that I was like, I'm gonna everybody I see, I'm gonna pay them a compliment. So I'm walking around like I'm in a musical, like sipping on coffee, being like, "You look great. I love your sneakers," like a fucking crazy person. And I get into an elevator to go to a business meeting, and I go up and I get it, and I'm like, "Your hair looks fantastic." And she just looks at me, and she's kind of like a sassy black woman, and she looks at me and she goes, "Really?" And her hair did not look good, and she knew it, and I knew it, and I was like, I guess not. I'm sorry, but she
just called
really
you out and said, "Really?"
She just called me out, and I had to apologize. I was like, "I'm sorry. I'm doing this thing."
It has to be genuine. It has to be like an actual
genuine.
thing.
It was genuine at the time. I was feeling it. I saw her. I said, "Your hair looks great," and then I got up close, and it was clearly that she hadn't done it that day. She was in pajamas.
I love that she said it. Really? Like, yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
I said, "I'm sorry." And I introduced myself. I said, "Well, you look like a really cool lady." I was like, "What floor are you going to?" "Oh, you're the last one."
We got 2 snorts on this one.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's a successful day. If I make my wife snort, that's how I know I'm doing well. You don't know that story.
No, I've never heard that story before.
Yeah, I blocked that one out.
That might be your love language, snorting.
Yeah, that is our love language.
I do. I love when he makes me laugh. It's my favorite.
I really would like to get more wisdom from you, if possible.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Are we going to ask him like the most?
I just want to know do you have any paranormal experiences outside of what you have told us about? Or supernatural,
I just
mystical?
spilled everywhere.
That's all right.
It's
Throw
okay.
it on
That's
the floor.
good. It's good. It's our
Paranormal.
studio. We share it.
Supernatural, mystical, anything like that.
I have 2.
Okay.
Okay. One, from what I remember, I was pretty young, and my sister and her friend Damon were over, and they were 5 years older than me. And we were in this room called the playroom. It was, we had like books and toys and whatnot, and there was a Ouija board. So we got out the Ouija board, and I remember being a little reticent, but we got it. We turned off the lights and we went for the whole effect.
Wow.
Until it started moving, and I forget what happened, but something flew off the shelf.
Whoa.
We all 3 screamed, ran downstairs, and Damon had a nanny. So the reason why Damon was friends with Tori, and he's like my big brother, he was over all the time. My sister had a nanny named Margaret, who helped, when my parents were busy and working. And then Damon had a nanny named Julia. So they met out on the street one day, and then they became friends, and then Damon and Tori were friends. So we ran down and we went and we told Julia. And Julia, I didn't know this at the time, came back up, sat down, and sat with us and started doing it. And she started channeling.
What?
And Damon's father came through and whatever. And then I remember Julia had a horrible headache. And it was like, we didn't really talk about this after that one day. But it was always in my mind that one day with the Ouija board and Julia, who no one knew was like a channel and was channeling. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's how
crazy.
old are you?
Oh, I must have been like 8,
That's
7.
What did she say?
wild.
I don't remember what she
Oh,
said.
hilarious. Paranormal experience and interdimensional being speaks through this person. And it's like, wow, that's crazy. I can't
I
believe
was
she
so
said-
young. I
must
was
have been
7,
important.
8. But it was paranormal,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess
No,
you'd
it's so
call it.
good.
No,
wild.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Okay, what's the second one?
The second one, I can't. I'm going to let you guys down. I can't tell all the details only because I write it in the book.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. But this is good because it brings in intuition. So I was doing a course at the time, and it was sort of in beta. It had taken almost 2 years. all around people with anxiety. And I really thought that this was going to be the thing that was going to help the world, help a lot of people. And I could see the possibility of it. However, there was something that was off. And we were working with salespeople at the time, which I talk to everyone. I don't have salespeople talk to people, right? It's just part of my thing. I want to talk to someone. I want to see what they need, to make sure I understand them. And we had salespeople, and I'm listening to these calls. And you take people with anxiety. Now there's this like way of selling this program, and I'm feeling terrible about this. And I remember listening to these 2 calls and thinking, this feels so off in my body. I don't know what to do. I've spent time, money, energy, 2 years putting everything into this, but something doesn't feel right. And so my whole family was sleeping. I took my earbuds out of my ears, and it was one of the first times that I can remember doing this to this degree. Is I closed my eyes, I took a few deep breaths, and I asked for an answer. I said, please give me a sign. Please give me an answer. What am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to do? But the difference is I knew 100% that I was going to get an answer, and it was going to come. Sometimes I ask and then I go about my life and the answer probably comes, but I'm not aware of it. But I knew this was it. With every fiber of my being, I just said, I need an answer. And 10 minutes later, 5 minutes later, we're at the coast. I'm pulled over essentially to the window, and I'm looking out at the moon, glimmering on the water. And all of a sudden I go into trance. It's the best way I could describe it. I kind of leave my body. So I'm about a foot and a half in back of my body and a little bit up, watching. And all of a sudden this like darker gray, black energy swirling all around me, but it's swirling upward. And that was the first thing I was like, weird. Okay. I mean, I get like dark energy, but it wasn't dark as in like bad or negative. It was programming. That's all. It was like, that's how I can interpret it. It was just like old ideas, old limiting beliefs, things. And it started swirling, and I started going, oh my gosh, what's happening? Blah, blah. Like you said, you got excited, and I came out, and literally this voice came. It wasn't like I heard it, but it was, don't judge it. Don't, like, you're going to take yourself right out of it. So it was like, stop, just watch. I'm like, okay. So I'm watching. And then next thing I know, all this golden filigree is moving all around me, this light all around me. And again, I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. What's happening? It's like, just
stop it, Randy, stop it.
be. I'm like, okay, fine.
Dude.
And all of a sudden, these codes are like matrix going right in front of me. And then it goes black, and there's a movie screen. And these 2 words flash on the screen. And they didn't make sense to me. And I went, I don't get it. I don't know. And they're like neon words.
Yeah. What are the words?
And then I heard, I can't tell because I can't. I can't.
It's not going to ruin the book.
Because it's the name of my book.
What is it?
Fine.
Do whatever you want.
Fine. So here we go.
Okay.
Spirit first.
Oh, nice.
That's a sick name for a book.
And so, thank you.
Tell it like it is.
So, and then I said, we got 3 snorts. I knew the 3rd one was coming. I knew it. I knew it.
Won.
You won.
It's my lucky day.
So I said, what? I don't get it. Spirit first. And then this is what was downloaded to me. You are a spiritual being having a human experience, just like I said earlier. And you are going to write the book mapping out exactly how to live spirit first. Not just read it, not just understand it, but live it. And then before I could panic, because I was like, oh my God, I don't know how to do that. What am I going to do? All of these codes started coming in again so fast to the point where I just had to like fade in the background and let it all come. And then shortly after, I kind of like went back in my body. I looked at the moon again and I thought, whoa, what just happened? That was cool. By the way, completely sober. I don't do anything. So went back to my chair. And then the next few days, I started writing some of these things. And I wrote someone who works with me and I said, I think I know what my second book is going to be. But the craziest thing is a week later, I sort of let it go out of my mind, all that I was dealing with. A week later, I started to feel anxious again, going, what am I going to do about this situation? I don't know what to do. I put all this time, all this money, you know, this course. And then the title flashed again, Spirit First. And then the question, Randy, is this spirit first? If it wasn't about this or that, is this really in direct alignment with living spirit first? And I got to know. It was like, there's your answer. So not only is it the book, but that's why that experience happened, because you asked. That was your answer. It just so happens to be the title of the book. And it took me 3.5 years to start writing the book because of so much doubt, being like, I don't completely live spirit first. I don't know how. And it was like, it was downloaded.
I was going to say, it sounds like you got downloads if you're getting a bunch of numbers and stuff falling
but you
down.
know, the human is like, no, you can't do this. How do you know? Blah, blah, blah.
The human is
You're a wizard,
so hard.
Harry. That's what I have to say to you. Sorry, I was quoting Harry Potter to him.
Quote Harry Potter all day long. It's okay.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I liked it.
Wow. Well, on that motherfucking note, damn, you rule. I mean, I always liked you. But
We love you, Randy.
Thank you. I love you too.
Now I'm like,
So good sitting with you both.
yo, you're a Raylite. For real. Why don't you
Thank
tell
you.
everybody how they can find you?
My website, randyspelling.com, and I'm pretty active on Instagram, Randy Spelling.
And
Oldish, the podcast Oldish. Yes.
and their
that too.
podcast,
Yes,
Oldish, which is shot right here.
Here
on
at
this
A4S Podcast Studios. Look us up. All right, brother. Yeah, I mean,
Thank you for
we love
having
you,
me.
dude. You're
Yeah,
amazing.
thanks
Like,
for
I didn't
coming on.
fully know what to expect. I just knew you were wise and kind and cool and could talk well from listening to your show, but I did not know the full extent of your story. What an amazing episode.
Thank you.
So cool.
Thank you for
Keep
having
doing
me.
what you're
You're so
doing.
cool.
And you know we're here to support you any way we can, you know.
Likewise.
Onward and upward.
Onward and upward.
Yeah.
All right. If you're still with us, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all those good things. It helps us out a lot. And go follow Randy on his journey and hopefully his new book soon.
And rate us on Apple and Spotify. Didn't know I could do that,
Thank
but you
you.
can, and it helps. Did you like that?
I like that.
That was a pretty good song.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Did you?
Until next time.
Okay, so bye-bye now. We love you all.